Welcome back to another. Hold on, my bad. Let me mute. Welcome back to another medicinal mass media production. Tonight we have a Steelman debate. Here we go.
Another go at the intro.
I muted here and did it there. All right, so we have a Steelman debate between Jesse, Path of Light, and who's the other opponent? I wasn't able to see the name.
Oh God.
Is that
Is
ET?
this actually happening?
Is this?
I was kind of joking.
All right, so which part are you playing, ET? Are you playing the role of globe earther or flat earther?
I am the globe earther. Yes.
Okay, all right, coming in the left ring, wearing the red shorts, we have ET
no.
playing the globe earther, and in the right wing, we have wearing the yellow pissy pants shorts, Jesse, Path of Light, playing the flat earther. Who wants to go first? Or we can flip a coin.
I was supposed to have retired from this whole thing. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But yeah. See, and Jesse's such a nice guy. I'd be like, "Come at me, bro." But I mean, like, I would never come at Jesse either.
Do you want to do you want to go first, Jesse, for an intro or an opening of 5 minutes or so?
Certainly. I will start with, this is going to be fun straw manning here. I will start with some evidence from fake Antarctica.
Okay.
As you can see, I've posted in open chat an image from the video 24 hours on ice, or a year on ice. And this is just a clip, a frame from the video. And you can't see it here, but you got to believe me. This car faded in and faded out where those green arrows were, right in the middle of the video. So Antarctica has to be fake, and if Antarctica is fake, the Earth has to be flat.
That's simple, just trick of the light stuff kind of thing. Like, for example, the sun can cast a shadow on something and you can't even see it. It's not pitch black. Or like a lamp inside your house can do the same thing. And then you're just sitting there and you can't see something all of a sudden. That's all that is. You know what I mean?
You can also see on the weather vane, you can see a little bit of fading between. It's kind of a ghost shadow behind it. That was also showing up as a double image for several frames at the same time that some vehicles faded in or faded out.
Proving what exactly?
Well, they're lying to us.
About what?
About the Earth. It obviously can't be a globe, because if it was a globe, they wouldn't have to fake this video from Antarctica, because they could actually just go there, right?
What makes you think the video is fake? I mean, you brought up the things about the cars and everything. And the weather thing, you're talking about the little spinny thing, right?
Right, the spinny thing and the cars.
Yeah. Listen, the cars can be easily explained by just weird light atmospheric conditions. We all know the sun's funny in Antarctica. All it has to do is wait a few more hours, it'll go away, and those cars will also probably disappear. They will no longer be visible.
But some of the cars parked in that parking lot didn't change. Some of them faded in or faded out, but others stayed there the whole time in the same area. So this is good evidence that they edited the video, right?
Not necessarily. Two things I can think of off the top of my head is we don't know what color of paint those vehicles were painted. So some of them could straight up be black. They could be a dark blue, while other ones might be colored white. So they take that into account. And I think also, the angle that the vehicles were parked might also be an important factor in this thought.
No. According to the Rayleigh criteria, according to the Rayleigh criteria, it would affect the smaller vehicles and not the bigger ones, but it was a couple of the bigger ones that actually faded in or faded out. And it happened It happened
Sure.
at the same time that the weather vane appeared as a double image too.
I'm unfamiliar with that, and I'm not that effect that you just said. I can't speak on that. I don't know what that is. I think you called it something.
Oh, Rayleigh criterion?
Yeah, I don't think I know what that is.
Well, that's what causes the horizon on a flat Earth, right?
Okay. Explain it to me. How does it work?
Well, basically, if you take the Earth curve calculator, which of course is inaccurate, but let's just say it was accurate, and you put in an observer height of 6 feet and a distance of 3 miles,
Okay.
it will give you, let's see, how did this argument go? Oh,
You're the expert.
right, if you were looking at a person 3 miles away and they were 6 feet tall, their angular height would be just about 0.02 degrees, which just happens to be the angular limit of resolution of the human eye, the unaided human eye, right?
That's an interesting coincidence.
So it's a coincidence. So everything's a coincidence, huh? Right? Are you just basically saying that everything that happens to support the flat Earth is just a coincidence, huh?
I mean, some people say there's no such thing as coincidences.
Well, you can say that if you like, but anyway, that's how the Rayleigh criterion creates the horizon, because a person, a 6 foot tall person, would just become a speck at 3 miles. And that's why when a 6 foot person is standing on the beach, the horizon appears to be 3 miles away.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Thank you.
I don't think you're buying it.
No, I totally understand 100%.
So, doesn't it seem reasonable, though, that if a large and a medium-sized vehicle fade in or fade out at the same time that there's a double image on the weather vane, doesn't that seem like pretty good evidence that that might have been a splice in the film? They had spliced something together.
What exactly do you mean by double image on the weather vane?
Let me see if I can. Yeah, you wanna jabber a bit while I see if I can find the video?
Oh yeah, sure. We can just kind of do some you know what I'm talking about. Quick advertisement. You guys want to buy? Have you guys ever looked into Alexa Pure water filters? Great product. We're selling them at 10% off at the moment. Best water filter you'll ever find anywhere. It's been proven to remove 99.9% of contaminants.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an impressive water filter.
It's good for the folks in Ohio.
Yep, if it's good for them, it's good for anyone. If it can handle that Ohio contamination, you know it's safe for you and your family and pets.
Yeah.
So you got to head on over to alexapure.com and order one today.
Now, a little hint.
Absolutely.
100%. And you know what? Not 100%, 90%, because I'm offering 10% off with promo code ET says so. Use that promo code.
But ET, what if I need to buy
10% off? That's the kicker right there, buddy. You put in ET says so twice, you get 15% off. And if you do the math, you're talking about hundreds of dollars of savings. You have nothing to lose. It's a double win for everyone. Get your water filters today. Lexapure.com.
Well, do all the proceeds go toward your business school education?
That's the brilliance of the whole thing. 10% of it is donated to a charity of your choice.
Wow.
Yes. It's an amazing deal for everyone. It's a win. It's a triple win for everyone. It's a quadruple win. It's a win-win-win-win.
Wow.
And you can't lose in this situation. You can't be drinking these waters. Have you heard about what's everyone's on Prozac these days? It's contaminating all the water that we all drink, making everyone all cray.
I'm back.
You need this water filter. You need it today. Go to alexapure.com today.
That was very good. I can't find the video. I found the one where I had respliced it so it didn't have the crossfade in it. But anyway, yeah. So you'll just have to take my word for it. That besides that's part of my new persona here. Is you got to take my word for it. I don't necessarily have to show evidence of
Wow,
my
I'm
claims.
supposed to trust you all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know.
What's that? I don't think that's how it works, buddy.
Remember, I'm arguing the flat Earth side. You got to take my word for it.
What's a flat Earth side? There's no such thing.
So yeah, let's say for the sake of discussion that I was able to produce a video, and it did show a double image and a crossfade of
Yeah,
the.
see, you're like DMOC here. You're not talking sense here. What are you talking? You're talking about double wind thing, double wind turbine. You're not making sense here.
Yeah, the vanes on the little wind turbine appear double image, like as if it was rotated in two different places simultaneously during the picture. Like two pictures were overlapped when it was in two different positions. Like a crossfade, an editing crossfade.
Okay.
Let's say for the sake of discussion that there was this overlap, this double image. Isn't that pretty good evidence that the film was spliced at that location?
I don't know. Earlier, those guys were video streaming those images, and they were talking about stacking for a good hour or two. How do I know this image isn't stacked? Quote unquote, you know.
Well, it wouldn't have been stacked because to stack an image, when you stack images, it's because there's not enough light to gather to expose a single image to a good level, and so you take a whole bunch of pictures of the same scene, and then each one is pretty grainy. But then by stacking them, you increase the signal to noise ratio, and you get a much more clear picture.
What's the flat Earth explanation for that, Jesse? I'm sorry, but I have to keep you on point here.
Yeah, Jesse, come on, you're losing me here, buddy. I mean, like, your argument is falling apart fast.
Jesse.
The flat Earth explanation for which?
Whatever you're talking about, you're talking
Image
about stacking.
That's just to get a more clear picture.
Okay. I thought that was in contention earlier tonight with some of the other flat earthers. Felt like you were going out of character.
I didn't hear that.
Who's playing a character? I ain't playing a fucking character. I'm the real fucking deal.
Right. So my point is that a picture pointed right at the sun is going to have plenty of light to get exposed, and so it's not going to be stacked. So it's just going to be single pictures, and besides, it's a moving picture, and you don't stack moving pictures because stacked pictures is just a still. It's not a moving picture. So it's definitely not stacked.
Okay. All right. I've learned something today. I understand now.
So
Okay.
are we in agreement that this does look like what very well could be evidence of a film, an editing splice in the film?
It's very possible. Mm-hmm. You're right. I have to concede. I can argue no further. Mm-hmm.
Now, from that, can't we conclude easily that Earth is flat?
One might think so, but in this image, if you look out into the distance, I see some mountains in the background there. So obviously the Earth isn't flat.
Well, we don't mean, well, some of us might, but we don't mean smooth when we mean flat. We mean that water at rest is flat, that all horizontals are parallel, and that all plumb lines are parallel.
What do you mean that you think it's flat, but it's also smooth? It's not smooth, but it's flat? I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, obviously we know there's mountains and hills and valleys and stuff like that. That's not, when we say flat, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fabric of dimensional space where Earth exists is flat.
Space?
Yeah, like
I thought
XYZ.
space didn't exist though.
Well, no, like XYZ, not outer space, but like the space
Uh,
in your house, the space
Thank
in your
you.
yard that your house sits on, the space that your city is built in. Do the
Thank you for
XYZ?
clearing up the difference for me. I was confused there for a second.
Certainly.
Now I understand what you meant.
How am I doing? Demonstrating?
I
Am I cutting
think
people
your
off
help.
enough?
I'm learning. The more you speak, the more I learn. I'm here to learn. So it's my
Right.
role. Right.
We can continue with this point. If ET wants to bring up a point for you to refute, maybe
That's a good
a
idea.
positive claim for Globe Earth.
That's a good idea. All right,
That
ET.
it.
Yeah, present some evidence for your silly little globe.
And okay. Well, I can bring a classic one, or I can bring up a couple like original things. How about this? Answer me this.
Appeal to authority.
Sorry. Okay. Explain to me why we have these lights, which some people call satellites, zipping across the sky, and we can track most of them with our iPads and cell phones with near perfection. It's not perfect. I'm aware of that, but very detectable. And in asking that, my question is, if they were truly balloons, how could they possibly fly at that speed without getting completely ripped apart? Because given the altitude, if they're a higher altitude, that means they're even going even faster. If they're low altitude, they're still just ripping it across the sky. And planes don't even go that fast, or it's close to that speed. And anyway, a balloon would get completely ripped into shreds. So, can you explain that to me, Jesse? How that
They have
works?
they have a kind of Kevlar that they've kept a secret from us that can handle those high speeds.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's like almost like a body armor, almost.
Exactly, and it has laminar flow fuzz. You know how the bumblebee has this fuzz on it that helps it have laminar flow when it's flying?
Yeah, it's like a fuzzy bee.
Right, exactly.
It's a fuzzy bee. Yeah, I also think that helps it with its aerodynamics and whatnot.
It's
It's like multi-purpose fuzziness.
It's a supersonic fuzzy bee. It's
Mm,
how it goes that fast.
okay, that makes sense now. That when you put it like that, I never thought of it like that before. Okay,
Hope for Kia doesn't Montreal doesn't pick up on that.
Montreal.
SD Montreal. Yeah.
I see
Hey,
Montreal.
so here's
Yeah.
what I learned from him. Certain superfluids have zero friction. So if above our air was a superfluid, then these balloons could move very, very frictionless.
Okay. When does the superfluid area in the sky begin, approximately?
Oh, we don't know. We haven't been up that high.
We don't know. Okay.
They keep that all secret from us. Us flat earthers, our balloons only go to 120,000 feet or so.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, 120 or so. Do you know about the SR-71 Blackbird aircraft by chance?
That's a balloon.
It's a type of reconnaissance aircraft developed, I believe, in the late 50s and built in the late 60s, early 70s, and revealed to the public a decade or so after that. And then got decommissioned sometime in the mid to late 90s, I believe, and they no longer fly that plane. Probably because they developed something more advanced. But it was a magical aircraft that could fly across the world. I think it could go from, off the top of my head here, forgive me, I don't remember the numbers, I think you could go from New York to London in like an hour or so. Like it was fast, very fast. I think it could fly around the world in like. I wish I had the numbers better memorized. It could fly halfway around the world and not a whole lot around in time, right? But it only had 2 pilots, so it's not like anyone can just jump in that thing. And they take pictures up at its highest altitude. Its highest speed is still classified, as far as I understand. I believe its highest altitude is probably also still classified. But we're talking maybe not 120,000 like balloon altitude, like you said, but close enough. And anyway, I read this book called Sled Driver recently in PDF form. Well, I haven't read the whole thing, but I've been perusing through it and just been looking through it a little bit. And a lot of it is picture based, and I'm seeing a lot of curvature there. Do you want to react to that?
Oh, the curvature in the pictures?
Yep. Taken from the pilot himself.
It was probably a wide-angle lens of some sort.
You know what's interesting about that? He there's these long paragraphs where he actually breaks down the cameras, the form, the cameras, and the lenses used, like to a very like professional kind of way, where like a professional photographer would only appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
oh, that's all right. I don't think I even said anything.
You said something.
Well, so some flat Earth research has shown that even though the horizon is flat, it still appears curved even in a rectilinear lens because of perspective. So it very well could have been the same phenomena that caused Dwayne Kellum to get a curved horizon in his rectilinear GoPro footage from 120,000 feet.
Can you remind me who Dwayne is again?
He's a guy, he was a mechanic like me, but he was in California. And he sent up high-altitude balloons with cameras on them. Mm-hmm. At first, he had a lot of fisheye curving going on. And so to get away from that, he took I think it was a Hero GoPro 3, because the lens is removable from those. And he removed that, and he purchased a rather expensive rectilinear lens that he put on it that at ground level rendered straight lines straight. And then he sent that up to 120,000 feet on a balloon.
I see.
And for some reason it showed it curving, so evidently there's some phenomena that causes a straight line to appear curved if it's far enough, and we think it must be due to perspective, because, you know, if it makes sense that things to the right or left of your vision would curve down, right? Just because your eye is round, right?
I'm aware of the concept you're speaking of. I am. Truly am. I don't know, you kind of cut out there. Are you still speaking, or are you ready for a response? Or?
I am ready for a response.
Okay,
am I cutting out?
No, you're not cutting out. You just stopped speaking, and I wasn't sure what was happening.
I'm having a hard part filling that part of the non-stop part of the role, for sure.
Yeah, well, I'll try to meet you halfway there, Jesse. I really will, you know. Which reminds me, after I finish this question, we might have to go away to ads again, folks. But we'll be right back. Before you know it, quick little plug there for our supporters of the show. The conversation will pick right up when we get back. But just to a quick little minute we have left here for commercial break. I've heard that story before. I've had someone even tell me that as you go further away from Earth, someone once told me that it doesn't even matter if you go far enough outside to even view a sphere. If it is a sphere, or if it's flat, it'll have that spherical look anyway, for that exact same reason that you just gave. On the left and the right side, it will seem to just kind of curve downwards and rise up in the center. Did I get that right, Jesse?
Something along those lines? Yeah, I think so.
So even if you did go in outer space, if outer space even exists, right? which it probably doesn't. I know. I mean, like, you can't get through the dome, so what are you gonna do? No offense to anyone who believes in the dome, by the way. I know there's some people listening here probably right now. I can think of one person in particular. I'm not gonna mention his name, but I actually I'm not trying to disrespect anyone right now in any way. Why would I want to do that? I gain nothing from doing that, and some of these people are my friends. I'm just kind of saying that's a lot of the argument that a lot of people make. And one person, I just couldn't believe it the first time I heard it. And this was just earlier this year. I was cooking something in my kitchen, just listening to people debate about stuff. And I had to chime in there, and I unclicked my little mute button, and I was like, hey, what about this? And this one person instantly responded. What was his name? If I saw his name, I would remember, but I can't remember right now. And he's like, yo, if you backed up a bunch, and this is the flat earther, right? He's like, it would still look round for that exact reason you described. Yep, that's my point. That's all.
Was that your? Oh, okay.
Well, that's just my response to kind of what you had last just said. But yeah, maybe now would be a good time to go to commercial break because it's almost about that time. I mean, it's up to you. We could skip this commercial break, or we can go to commercial break. I'm going to leave that up to you. You're our special guest, Jesse.
Oh, I thought we were really gonna. I thought YouTube was gonna play an ad, and we were gonna wait for it to finish or something.
I can play an ad.
YouTube will probably add its own ad,
Yeah,
but I just think we should have our own commercial.
I can play an ad right here. Hold on. Head on down to your local Walmart and pick up a Magic Mike potable solution. It's the potable protein douche. It's portable and potable.
Go down to your local Walmart and buy the portable douche today. Wow.
And back to the debate.
All right, so my turn to present flat Earth evidence now.
Sure, you can do whatever you want, Jesse. You're
Let me.
You're totally in control here. Yeah.
Okay, my next bit of evidence will be one of my own photos, and it shows a horizon that is not where it should be on a globe Earth.
Okay, let's take a look here. You know what? You know what? After all this little talk, Jesse, I think you've got me flipped over to the other side. Now I think you're gonna have to convince me. You down?
Absolutely. I'm just
okay, because you got me convinced. It's funny how we just switched like that out of nowhere. That's weird. We switched. Now you're on my old side. I'm on your new side, or whatever the hell. We switched. Now we switched. It's weird. Weird.
It's not real weird.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Math's
Okay,
the
Jesse.
same though.
Well, math is a tricky thing.
No, it's the same.
All right.
Hold on a second, Denmark. I don't want. Can you mute yourself again? We're doing a steel man debate.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, Demon. I was just telling him that. That's all.
You know, Debach, you were right. You were right in what you said. You're speaking the truth.
All right. This picture is. Let's see. Maybe I'll share my screen. Is it okay if I share my screen?
I have no problem with it. I'll allow it.
Okay, I pasted the whole image too, but I don't want you to look at the whole image. I just want you to look at the part I have up on my screen share.
Okay, yeah, I'm viewing it now. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
We're both. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, so.
Hey, by the way, Jesse, you know how rude of me. Happy 4th of July.
Oh, happy Independence Day. Assuming it's Independence. Are you in America?
Well, I mean, you're American, right?
Indeed.
Hell yeah. Happy Independence Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
What?
You know, I really respect Americans, and I'm half American myself, at least in my head. I've spent Been a long time down there, and I love that country. Trying to leave Canada. Start to live down there. I've been up in Canada for like a long time. Anyway, continue on.
You don't know anyone in Victoria, do you? In BC?
Dude, are you kidding me? I used to live in Victoria. I love Victoria. Actually, and yes, I do know people who still live there. One of my good friends lives there, actually. His name is
Because it'd be fun to do
His
some
name
tests.
is Thomas.
It'd be fun to do some tests across the water there. But anyway, that's a different topic. So, if you can all see my screen share.
And we've switched now, right? Like you've convinced me, and you totally convinced me. I think at this point, and like my points were so good, you switch sides at this point. Is that what's happening here? I mean, did you, or are we kind of almost? What's happening here?
I thought I'm the flat earther and you're the glober.
Yeah, because you convinced me. So yeah, right. Oh yeah, I thought we had convinced each other that we were both wrong. You're right. Continue. We didn't convince anyone. I just made that up in my head. Nobody convinced anyone of anything. You're right. You're right. Continue. Okay.
Okay, so this photo I present to you is impossible if the Earth were a globe. And how I know this is because I placed my telescope a couple inches below the top of this blue and white sign. And as you can see, this ship is sailing cleanly over the top of not only the sign, but the signpost as well.
I see that.
And the ship is, how far away is the ship?
Looks a bit out there.
Oh, 4.73 miles. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where I was located, where it says observer. This other tack is the point of it, shows where the blue and white sign is, and then out here is where the good ship Hudson, the tugboat.
Is that why you brought up Victoria? Is that what this area is?
Yeah,
on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I see. See, I thought you were just doing small talk with me, like, hey, ever been to Victoria? I was like, yeah, I totally did. You were setting up a thing. You're setting up a thing. Continue. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So I positioned my camera below the top edge of this sign slightly so that it would be impossible for me to see the water line on that ship if the Earth was a ball. And as you can see, I can see the ship all the way down to the water, as well as the barge that was behind it, clearly over the top of the sign. How do you explain that on your little hilarious globe?
Well, it says it right there in your graphic. Obviously, refraction. I mean, I know that's so obvious because it's right there in the picture, but that's what it is. It's obviously refraction.
Oh,
people use other terms. They use a mirage. There's different little terms people use and they throw around, but
you have to ignore that part. Yeah, don't read that part. See.
Well, that was my answer to begin with. You didn't even have to show that part. See, you made a big mistake when you were showing that, but I was going to say that anyway. That's exactly why you can see Chicago from that other side of Michigan, because it's basically refraction. Now, what type of refraction? The looming refraction, lurking, there's different types. I'm not an expert in light. I'm not going to pretend like I can answer that, but it's probably what's going on there. You have like giant cities floating over curved water situations. Have you ever seen that? Hey, Jesse, you think you're so smart? You ever see that video of the Chinese city floating in the sky? China?
I don't think so.
Whole downtown area of China floating in the sky. People are like, what the hell's going on here? You got like news reporting on it. A lot of people videotaped it. It's a little thing called like a light refraction situation, like a mirage or I don't want to get all specific because I know people are going to be like, oh, you use the wrong technical term. But let's just call it a mirage, almost like casual term to use. Mirage, refraction, something like that.
But how do you know that it's refraction making this ship visible in this particular instance if you didn't measure it?
Well, number one, there's no way to measure it. That boat is like floating away from you like 100 miles. It already has a 100 miles head start. What are you going to do? To chase it down with a measuring tape or something like that? Plus, there's other ways of detecting it. You can see it you can videotape it. You can do laser stuff from different points of land. And the reason why you still see it is because the light from that light is weird. That's why. That's the main reason why. Is because light is funny like that. Light does a lot of weird things, and that's why you see those boats in those cities up in the sky. Because light bounces off the sky for whatever reason.
Or maybe the Earth is flat.
No, it's been proven to be not flat. Of course, we have excuse me, because we have sorry, I had a little and swallowed there for a good minute or two, because we've been out into space and taken pictures of the Earth, and it's provably spherical. That's why we know. Mm-hmm.
Well, you may think we've been to space. Have you been to space personally?
Have you?
No. If I had, then I would know about it. But I
And
haven't.
you're right.
So
And it wasn't your claim anyway, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. Wasn't your claim.
But you can see why it wouldn't. You can see why it wouldn't be a convincing argument to me, since neither you or I have been there, right?
Yeah, but at what point do you trust the science enough? There's got to be a point where you're like, I just trust it. I trust the scientists, and they probably went up there and took those pictures. And I mean, why wouldn't you trust them? When has NASA ever lied to you? Tell me that. Oh no, I'm fucking that up. Listen to me, okay? Hold on a second. I gotta take a little sip of this. I got some water over here, pure water. I need to take a sip of this. Get my head screwed on straight.
How do you know it's pure water?
What is pure anymore? Listen to me. They lied about the Apollo missions. You know that, right? You must admit that at this point. Have you seen those footages? Especially the one where they rocket off from the moon, where Michael Collins just happened to be flying around the moon like a crazy person, and they just perfectly docked with that spaceship with a calculator, a computer, with similar technology to like an old calculator, like an old piece of trash that you would normally throw in the garbage if in today's day and age you'd be like, this is garbage. How did they do that?
Well, that's what I want to know, is how did they keep the beads on their abacus from floating around while they were trying to do those calculations?
Why would you be doing abacus calculations when you're like on your way or at the moon? I mean, if I was going to do, and they were only there for a little while, if they were there for such a short amount of time, I mean, like if I went to the moon, I wouldn't fucking be screwing around with an abacus. That's for damn sure. I could think of like 100 things that I would do before messing around with an abacus if I was at the moon. I would consider the abacus extra weight. I wouldn't even have allowed it on the spacecraft.
Well, my hour's about up, but we've got time for you to present your next globe evidence, and then let's wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good. But That sounds great. Yeah, top of the hour. Okay, it's we're gonna go for a quick little commercial break, folks. Thanks for sticking around. If you're still listening, this is KRXE, and this is ET Radio, and we're talking to special little friend Jesse here about the reality of global Earth. So stick around and hear out the rest of the episode. Thank you. Be right back.
Are you tired of the wind? Are you tired of the wind blowing in your face? Are you tired of stepping out into hurricanes and realizing you're suddenly off the ground? Well, worry no more. With our anti-umbrella, we will make sure that the wind will keep you firmly on the ground. And with the added face covering, we can make sure that you will never have to deal with the wonders of wind chill ever again. Go to check out now and use the promo code Seafoam Says So for 15% off your next anti-umbrella.
Rules and conditions apply.
You guys are hilarious.
All right, welcome back, folks. Let's wrap it up for our it's the last section of our interview here tonight with Jesse, or one of our best guests we've had on for quite a long time. We hope you come back, and it's been a pleasure so far. This is our last section of the interview, and you had said something before we went to break there, commercial break. By the way, folks, I would support that company. That wind will get you. You don't want your face getting windburn. That's not fun. That is not fun. Jesse, can you remind our guests what we were talking about before we went to commercial break there?
You were just about to give us your final point of evidence for the globe.
Oh.
The globe that doesn't exist, of course.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to answer your question with a question. How is it possible that you could be on the northern? Now, hold up. How is it, providing it's a spherical world or realm? Let's just go with world. Providing a spherical world, how do you have the stars spinning in one direction and then you go in the southern hemisphere and it's spinning in a different direction? I'd like to have an answer to that.
That's very simple, ET. It has to do with not only curved visual space, but the orientation of the axial axis of the curve, right? So every curve needs a center, right? Well, that center has a vector, and that vector has an orientation, and that orientation has a vortex, and that vortex has a direction, right? So
continue.
So this vortex and this orientation and this rotation and this curved visual space causes the stars to appear to move in one direction when you're more near the center and the other direction when you're out near the ice ring, right?
Wait, may I ask a question? Sorry if I cut you off. You can continue if you want.
Certainly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for your for being kind. You're so kind. Can you explain to me axial vortex rotation? How does that work exactly?
Well, there's really nothing to it. I mean, you know what an axle is, right?
Yes, like Axl Rose from
Okay,
Guns N' Roses, right? Yeah,
no,
great
I was
musician.
thinking like the axle on the end of a truck, right?
Okay, so you're talking more a mechanical type thing.
Right. Well, it's an analogy. An analogy is to help illustrate a complex thing to make it more palatable. On the end of a truck is an axle.
More
right?
easily understandable.
Right.
I see.
So,
I see how that works now.
So you understand that on the end of a truck is an axle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the end of the axle is a wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the end of that wheel is a rotation, right?
Right.
And within that rotation is a vortex, right?
Yes. Sure. Is it?
Uh-huh.
Vortex. There's a vortex. Okay. Well,
Right.
you know what? I learned something today. That's amazing then.
So
Great.
if you,
Okay. There's a vortex there. Perfect.
so if you were a fugitive riding underneath the truck, sitting on the axle,
Oh, God forbid, but okay.
it's better than being a fugitive up underneath a 747 looking at the axle.
That's true. There's been weird stuff going on with that stuff, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, but continue.
So if you were sitting on the axle, now riding there, and you looked over, you would see the wheel turning one way on one side, right? And you turn around and you look and you see the wheel turning the other way on the other side.
I
But
see what you're throwing down.
the
I see what
wheels
you're
are
throwing.
they're turning the same way, right? Because if one was turning forwards and one was turning backwards, there'd be all this screeching and burning rubber, and it wouldn't work, right? They're turning the same way, right?
Too much friction or something. Like they gotta be working in tandem, you would think. Right? You're saying the left wheel's going one way, the right wheel's going the other way, you know, like whoa.
It just looks like it.
See, but it's not real. Not real. It's an illusion of sorts. It's like a magician's trick.
No, it just gives something we wouldn't necessarily expect, but it's very real. I've seen the Star Labs videos from the northern and the southern regions, and yeah, they sure as anything turn opposite directions or appear to turn opposite directions.
But they don't actually, or do they actually? I'm still a little confused there. Like, do they? I mean, do they actually spin in different directions?
Have you ever shown a laser at a wall and seen all these little sparkles?
Yes, I love those things. I own one. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so the stars are just sparkles. They're not actual things. They're just sparkles. So we don't really need to talk about whether they're actually moving or not. They're just sparkles that we see, and they're created by the aether waves in the vortex. Where they coalesce and diffract and refract and all those good things.
Right.
And that's how. And we're within this vortex, and when we look to one end, we see them rotating one way, and when we look to the other end, we see them rotating the other way.
Okay, you're getting somewhere here. I think you're starting to figure it out. I think you're really making a breakthrough here, to be honest. See, this is how it happens, folks. You know, we're on our own, and we gotta just figure it out one day at a time with our own. You gotta use your own head. You know, we gotta get back into the days where we just like pencil and paper. You know, we're like back to the drawing board kind of deal. You know, and Jesse here is speaking some truth. That's what I think. Well, Jesse, it's literally midnight. Do you want to wrap up the interview? Do you have anything else you want to say?
Oh, just thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Please come back at your earliest convenience. We'd love to have you back. You're our favorite guest that we've been blessed to have interviewed thus far. And we wish you well, and we'll let you you have a moment to have any of your own plugs and just promote your websites and any books that you may have been published recently.
I haven't published any books yet.
Are you kidding me? I just bought one last week. What are you talking about? Well, maybe that was a different Jesse. Well, anyway, you can sit there. I'm sorry. You can sit there and why don't you just tell everyone where they can find your work at your website, and then we'll call her a night.
All right. I'll just drop my YouTube channel. How's that? Does that work?
Oh, that sounds perfect.
That's fine, yeah. And E.T., you were running for Congress as well, that's correct? Which county was that for?
I was actually running for mayor I was not elected, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give up.
Are you going to run again in 2022 or 2024? Sorry.
Yeah, next time. Yeah, you know it. I won't give up. I won't give up. So yeah, you'll be seeing me out there on the on that podium a couple years again. Yep, I won't give up. I will run until I win.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both for your cordial debate, and we'll open it up here for open discussion if anyone wants to ask any of our flat earthers or our steelmans some questions.
Perfect. Thank you for everyone involved. I appreciate it. Thank you. Vote for ET. Thank you.
I'd say put 2 circles on a page, right? And then draw the flat Earth idea of how a circle works for a globe. You know, where you stand on top of it, and it's 2D, and you're on the top, and you draw a horizontal line at the top. Then show the Glover's version, where they are standing on the flat portion of a circle. So I mean, you know, you figure that out real quick.
Hey, what's up?
How are you doing? You got any questions for our contestants?
I just want to throw this out really quickly here. I just want to thank everyone for being so patient during that interview. Nobody cut in. Nobody was
Oh, you're doing a stream. Okay,
weird.
sorry.
I really appreciated that. I just want to throw that out there to all of our listeners.
Yeah, but it's open floor question and answer time, so you can ask the Glober or the Flat Earther questions.
Yeah, you can ask me anything. It can even be personal questions. I don't care. It's July 4th, you know?
Do you use
fun.
a banker for your finances?
Yeah, Jesse answered the question.
Oh, no, I don't use a banker.
So, Jesse, Mr. Flat Earther, how do you explain the South Pole rotation?
You mean this, the apparent rotation of the stars when you're out near the ice ring?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's I went over that. Did you hear?
No, I joined
Oh,
late.
okay. Well, basically, curved visual space, not only because every curve has a radius, and at the end of that radius is the center point of that curve, right? Well, that center point has an axis, and that axis has a vortex, and the vortex has a direction. And so it's like if you were, on the end of a truck, there's an axle, right?
Yeah.
And on the end of the axle, there's a wheel, right? And on the end of that wheel will be a vortex because the wheel is spinning, right? Now, those two wheels are spinning the same direction. Otherwise, the truck would be in all kinds of trouble if they were spinning opposite directions. But if you're riding on the axle and you look to the south, you look to the one side of the truck, you'll see the wheel turning one way. If you look to the other side, you'll see it turning the other way. Does that make sense?
Yes, sure. I don't think that was what I was asking, though. I was asking, like, the center point in the South Pole rotation. Because, as far as I know, when we look north, we are claiming on both sides that this is a quote-unquote fixed point. But we have that on the other side also. How does that make sense on a flat Earth? If it's like a disk and it's getting larger and larger and larger, because we have to fix the center point as a reference point or something we can compare to. How do we get the same effect as a fixed point when there is no fixed point in the south?
Tim, as much as we appreciate your question, we encourage not to ask a guest the same answer twice in a row. So if you guys could just sum this up really quickly and we can move on, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Why are you white knighting for the flirt?
Tim, yeah. Why don't you answer Tim's question? He made a good point, actually. Maybe you should answer this question, Jesse, if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, I am answering it, but it's very complex. Most people can't understand it, right? So if you took an orange and cut it in half, you could see long stripes or like these sections, depending on which way you cut it, right?
Truth.
Okay. So what we don't understand, what most people don't understand about the Aether vortex is that it is multidimensional, more dimensions than we're used to. So within the Aether vortex, it's completely normal to be able to look one direction and see it rotating one way, and look the other direction and see it rotating the other way. We don't necessarily understand how that works, but it just does.
Well, I'm gonna open the floor for someone else. I don't think I got an answer, but thanks. Anyway.
No, that should suffice. We don't know how it works, but that doesn't matter. That should suffice, Tim. I mean, like, what more could you want?
Well, I'm not on trial here, so
we don't
please.
understand how it works. What more could you want? Nobody knows. Okay, it's like it's a mystery. Tim, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, I don't think he is going to answer.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's a rare radio show happening right now, so I don't know. I don't want to be like, Tim, we got to move on to somebody else. I really want to let you have your chance, your space in the limelight, as they say.
I'm just gonna repeat myself, and I don't like that.
It does get annoying when people repeat each other, but you're a smart man, Tim. You're a very smart man. And I don't want you to feel like you got ripped off on this rare episode.
I'm gonna let the audience decide.
Okay. Well, you know what? You're welcome to come back at any time. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for calling in tonight. We do appreciate that. We're gonna go to our next caller here. Crew member, can you tell us who's next here in line? Is that crew? What's his name? Starts with I can't read the board. My eyes are going bad. Put on my glasses. Who's that next in line? Another question? Yeah, if the crew could help me out here, that'd be a big help. I mean, I could just go to rebroadcast.
Goddamn spill of beer on the board back here.
I'll just go to fucking rebroadcast.
Yeah, fucking do it live.
Oh yeah, see, at least someone can talk here. Perfect. Sorry, I was gonna go to rebroadcast. Do you have a question here for our guest, Jesse? You have a question?
No, not that I can think of.
Oh no, this guest, I believe it's Demonstrate, is coming to. I believe it's coming in to ask you a question.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
ask a question.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you. Pleasure to have you.
Yeah. What convinced you that everyone around you was lying to you, especially your mother?
I guess it made me feel good.
Okay, that makes me feel good too. That makes me feel good too, because I swear to God, she's lying. She's fucking lying.
Oh, you know she's lying. You know she's lying, one way or another. No way around it. Keep going. You sound like you want to say a little something more, caller. Continue. Do you want to ask another question before we move on to the next caller? Or... Demonstrate where you can open your mic and ask another question or two if you want. You almost took a stab at your mom there. How you feeling with that, Jesse? How you dealing with that? Oh, he's back. Okay, yeah. Ask another.
I think we can close it out.
You're on the air.
Yeah.
There is one thing I'd like to say, just for the record, just so that there's no confusion later. I don't actually think the Earth is flat, and this was a fun game.
I'm sorry, Jesse. We already cut
Jesse-
that. We already ended the stream before you could confess.
Jesse is in denial.
Are
He doesn't
you
know what he
no
believes
longer
in
live?
anymore. Yeah, well, we're still taking callers here. If anyone wants to call in, we are at
So what? Sorry, I just joined the chat.
403-775-8236. That's 403-7685-3326. And we're going here one at a time. If you want to call in, we're taking calls right now. So free for all at this point tonight. So happy 4th of July, everyone. I want to that out there again. Yeah, happy America Day. Happy Independence Day. I hope you're all having a great time. Let's all just have a great evening. Party. Just love our friends and family and just have a great time. Thank God for everything, right? All right. Who's our next caller? And yeah, and folks, we'll be summing up the show here up in a little bit here, and then everyone can do whatever they want. All right. So
I was
let's
gonna
just
say, if we don't have any more questions, we can probably end it here and just open it back up for everyone else too.
Okay. Normal style.
Do we want to do
Probably.
closing statements? Do we already give those? If not, we can just give a brief goodbye and then I'll end the stream out.
Yeah, just it's been a good radio show, and bless every single one of you. We wouldn't be here if you weren't here, and we wouldn't be here without your support either. So thank every single one of you for supporting us, for listening, and spreading the word. And yeah, let's
Click
take
the
these
like
last.
button, and in the
Let's-
description there is a link to PayPal.
That is true. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me about that. That is all true. It's all there. Yeah, let's just take these last couple calls and then we'll call it a night, and everyone can just enjoy the rest of their July 4th evening. Let's do that. Any, is there one or two more callers? Maybe there may not be, but I don't know. Maybe there's one or two left in the soundboard. Maybe check in with the crew. Well, you know what? I think everyone's just having so much fun on this July 4th. No one's calling in, and that means that's good news. That means everyone's having a great time. So I think it's time, unless anyone else thinks otherwise. So I think it's time to conclude this broadcast. It's been a hell of a time. It's been a great evening, and I salute you all. God bless every single one of you. Thank you, everyone, who called in. Thank you for buying our products, especially Alexa Pure.
All right. Well, thanks for watching the Medicinal Mass Steelman debate. We'll have more in the future of actual debates. Here we go. Like and subscribe.